All right, hello everybody. It is Coach Steven from Woolery Strength Systems, and whoa, sorry, my second monitor went crazy for a second. Anyway, going into our dynamic effort lower body day today, and we will be doing our kind of our normal video. We're going to go over the workout and then get into the workout, watch some videos, things like that. So first off today, we had dynamic effort lower body, like I just said. We had single leg wall sets for those tendon health, some isometrics, single leg reverse hyper, ended up being single leg back extension on the GIHR, mostly just for convenience sake. Again, more of just activation here. And then we had bounds with that as well. I need to take out that dynamic warm up. I just have it copy and pasted from last block when we were doing sprints. Excuse me. But I had bounds. Then we had for our main movement for dynamic effort was speed belt squat. Went pretty well. Heavy kettlebell swings versus bands. This weight is incorrect. I don't know why I still have it set to that, but we will get that fixed when we go through it in just a moment. Next up, we had single leg press with a 6-second eccentric. I need to also change that real quick. Don't want to do that. What do we want to do here? So we want to create a new exercise. Is very easy. Single leg press. New exercise. We will have to type it in again. Single leg press, 6-second eccentric. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So then that will automatically update, and then now the data will be saved as single leg press with a 6-second eccentric. Because obviously that would be different than no eccentric, etc. Or at least no tempo on the eccentric. And then we had wide stance seated deadlifts. I apparently did these incorrectly. We weren't supposed to be standing up on it, but I am going to fix this over here. I'm sorry, this is distracting me. Okay, there we go. Then we have straight leg pull downs, and then we also went then into pull through planks and straight arm pull downs. So those are all pretty cool. We'll go ahead and get into the actual lift now. Moving this, I'm gonna save this before it ruins it. Maybe. All right, we'll figure that out after the video. Gonna go here. So one thing I didn't mention, I actually did single leg box jumps as well. That's something I need to do. You'll see that in just a moment here. But didn't record the wall sits today just because I didn't think it was really necessary. I've been doing those for about 6 weeks now. And anyway, here's the single leg reversed hyper slash single leg GHR back extensions. Just got one leg locked in, and for some reason it only got, I don't remember if I did my left leg first or not. Like it says it did, but I thought I did my right. But anyway, again, we're just kind of squeezing those glutes to the top. Just got that one leg locked in. So we're only really getting a lot more activation out of that left side versus the right side that's free at the moment. And then versus going double. I think it's just more of a variation thing more than anything. Feels pretty good. Gets the glutes firing up for sure for these squats. Not going to watch this make a swatch all of those for now, but here was one of the dynamic warm-ups I did, was these single leg box jumps. Just did these to an 18-inch box. Left leg felt pretty athletic. Right leg, not so much. It didn't feel as good. It actually didn't look as bad as I thought it was going to on the camera. Did about 3 sets of 4 each leg on these. And honestly, they didn't feel too bad. So I was pretty happy with these for the most part. And that's kind of all I really have to say about it, to be honest. I think I'm going to try just keep adding in different jumps and things like that. Almost conjugating my jumps, if you want to say that. And that's not even really conjugating. That's not the right term at all. More just rotating my jumps. That's probably what I was looking for, rotating, not conjugating. But then we did bounds. Didn't record those. Just didn't have. I just didn't. Let's be honest. That's what I did. I just didn't record them. Not for any reasoning. Mostly, that's why. There was not a camera option, and I didn't want to just throw it in randomly amongst these. I could have probably put it in dynamic warm-up. But anyway, moving into belt squat. We didn't record all of our sets like we have been, but I didn't think it was necessary. With it being belt squat, there wasn't a whole lot of variation between sets. Besides, we'll get into this here. So all these were done at the same weight. Again, just trying to simulate sitting back as far as possible, knees out as far as possible, having good shin angles, hitting at least parallel, if not below, and then just exploding to the top here. Yeah, I think that was my second set. I think I didn't start recording until then. I was a little lazy with my recording today, I can't lie, so I apologize for that. Here we go on our setup. Again, sitting way back, getting pretty low, and throwing through. So right here, I felt like I was sending the hips through good, but instead of sending the hips through so much, I need to think about still pushing through the ground and kind of using my adductors to kind of stand up. Uh, at least that's kind of what I was trying to go for later on, and it ended up working out pretty well for the most part. Today, once again, was a really fun session. We were just kind of vibing today on these dynamic effort days. It's just all vibes most of the time, and I love it. I love it. I mean, it's vibes on the max effort day too, but it's a little bit more serious, little more to kind of worry about, I guess, with the heavier loads and things like that. People got to focus out just a little bit more. But overall, though, these speed belt squats felt really good. I definitely could have gone heavier. Probably should have gone heavier. But once again, I was just kind of vibing. We were just doing it, moving fast, trying to be quick and explosive and whatnot. Sinking down nice and slow, exploding to the top there. As you can see, I feel like I'm a little bit more trying to push vertical versus just throwing my hips uh, forward. Instead, I'm trying to go more of a straight up action. And I think that was probably more of an optimal movement pattern for what I was trying to get out of it. Yeah, I'm kind of like, you can kind of tell I'm obviously my hips are still going forward, but the idea seems to be my intent looks more vertical versus just throwing my hips far as possible forward. At least that's kind of what I'm seeing through that. But apart from that, that was speed belt squat. Very simple, nice, easy day on the machine. Not a lot of variation throughout. Then we had these heavy kettlebell swings. This was my first set, and my first set ever doing banded kettlebell swings. So this will be interesting for you all to see as well as me to watch the video. So I kind of had to get it going. And after I get going, what's really interesting at this is when that band started to pull it back down, and you kind of got to sink into your hips and your glutes and your hamstrings a little bit to kind of control to not fall over. It feels pretty good though. Like I definitely am not complaining about it at all. So this was a 32 kilogram kettlebell. So give or take 64 pounds. Obviously it's a little bit more than that. So 2.2. I can't do that math right now, and I'm going to do it on my phone right in front of you all. 2.2 times 32. 70, so I was close. 70-pound kettlebell. And then we had the band tension, but I won't really account for that. Not too worried about it. And I don't know why I have each leg. See, the problem is I will copy and paste the week prior to the next week. So when the block switches, I'm lazy when it comes to these programming for myself. And I will not edit some notes and things like that sometimes. So I apologize for that. Then we had the single leg press. I'm only going to watch the heavy one. The light one really doesn't change much. The heavier one's more interesting anyway because it's heavier, and that's awesome. So again, 6 seconds on the eccentric, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seems pretty good there for me. I couldn't really find a comfortable neck position with this. I like to go back, but I also like my body wanted to lean forward. So I don't know, maybe next time if I get a pad to set behind my head, if that would feel more comfortable or not. One thing I had with this machine that I'm not a fan of here at the UCM weight room is when, we'll back this up a little bit. Every once in a while, I would clank on the second safety. And it's a good feature, 100%. But I would keep clanking on that safety right there and not being able to get a little bit lower, which was slightly unfortunate, but not a huge deal. This definitely got a little bit heavy there towards the end. I ended up increasing the weight on the last set. I should have done it earlier, but it felt kind of heavy the first set, and I was like, that was kind of odd. But I definitely could have gone up. But then I was like, maybe I'll just, hang it out. For most of this program, I've been letting my ego take over, and I was trying to be smart. But then I was like, well, I just wasted a set, it felt like, so I went up, and this probably would have been a good set for most of my sets. So live, learn, we'll figure it out for next time, but not a huge deal. And then we went to these. So I actually flipped these videos by accident. And once again, I was a little lazy today. I had some other stuff to be working on. So for the wide stance seated deadlifts, we're actually going to have to watch it on the straight leg pull downs, which again, that was completely my fault there. But here, started seated and then just doing basically a deadlift from the seated position there. And again, I was actually apparently doing these incorrect. What we were supposed to do, at least as a strength staff, some people might do it different. This is how I read it, doing it how you're watching me do it. But apparently we were supposed to do almost more just like a good morning. And that's just kind of how I read it. So if that was incorrect, well, it was incorrect actually. But if it was incorrect for like more than just the UCM strength staff idea of what we meant to do, I apologize for everyone that likes this movement specifically. And now, flipping again for these straight leg pull downs. Pretty simple here, band and straight leg pull downs. Just pulling the band on the edge of the foot, letting that leg come back, and then pulling down nice and easy. I ended up switching to the heavier band after this first set. Not a lot to see here, really. So I'm going to go ahead and skip through these. But these were pretty easy for the most part. Obviously, just our legs are really, really strong. So on that pull down, like at the very end, it's kind of like there's not a lot of tension just because like your legs completely straight. You're really strong there. As we kind of go up a little bit, there's a little bit of tension. And then there's almost just a stretch at the top. So really was not bad at all. And then these pull through planks killed me. So I only recorded the 25. I ended up having to go down to a 10. But these were rough with the 25. You'll see right here, and you can see my bald spot. That's really embarrassing, actually. My hips are not shifting too bad. The idea was to not rock back and forth. Doesn't seem to be doing it too bad. Could be a little bit better, it seems. But yeah, so we're just kind of pulling these just outside to the shoulder. Kind of missed the zone. I think I pushed it over. Yeah, didn't want to try to cheat a rep there, but just getting it outside of the kind of the shoulder width, and then reaching through, pulling it under while kind of staying in that plank position. One of the strength coaches, Noah Arney, he does a lot of these with his athletes, and I've always watched him and tried them a little bit here and there, and I'm like, oh, that's difficult for sure, not too bad. And I've done it, like I said, I've practiced a time or two with just like a 10. I was very, very humbled after this, I will say, with the 25 pounds. And even the 10s were pretty difficult. I don't know if the 10s were more difficult because the exercise itself or like after that first set, I was just already kind of done. But I highly recommend trying those for sure. Then we had these straight arm pull downs. Pretty simple. Just use the orange band here. We'll skip ahead a little bit. Straight arms the whole time. Getting those lats, just like a simple lat pullover you might have seen on the cable lat pullover you've probably seen before. Pretty simple here. Or a dumbbell pullover, but again, from the leg up top, no gravity being affected here, being the main load at least, and it's not, but these are pretty good. Got a decent little lat pump in. Nothing too crazy, though. Metric-wise, difficulty was 3, duration 65, fatigue is not out of 5. I was demoing for a client, and I was using my own. So fatigue was probably about a 2. I felt pretty solid today. So slept in by accident yesterday morning, so I got a little extra sleep than usual. So that's probably why that fatigue felt really, really low. So besides that, that's all I got for you all. If you have any questions for me, always please leave a comment down below and let me know. But besides that, have a good one, and thank you for watching. Bye.